Hello and welcome to PMCLounge.com. Today we are talking about interpersonal and team skills. Now, if you're wondering why this topic, this is actually a topic as part of your PMP curriculum. This is an important aspect of project management, and you as a project manager should possess these skills. Now, without further ado, if you're into reading articles rather than watching videos, first link in the description is going to take you to a relevant article on this topic over at our official website pmclounge.com, and second link in the description will take you to the entire playlist of every single video that we have done on resource management knowledge area. All right, let's get started. So why is this important? Now, as a project manager, one of the most important abilities that you need is the ability to influence others, and influence is part of interpersonal skills, right? Influencing others, that's part of interpersonal skills. Now, why do you need to be good in this skill? Let's take an example. If you need the best programmer for your project, you need to convince the functional manager. By the way, the best programmer reports to the functional manager in this case. So you need to convince the functional manager that your project is the most important project on the floor. If you have that influencing ability, if you have that convincing ability, if you have the required interpersonal skills, chances are this functional manager is going to agree to assign his or her best programmer to your project. Once that happens, the chances of your project being a success increases multiple fold, right? So it is very important that you possess this skill called influencing others. Now, this is not just limited to human resources. Let's say you need a server which is always in high demand, and I'm trying to create a drawing, trying to draw a server here. I'm pretty bad at drawing, so please bear with me here. But if you need the most important, the most high demand server for your project, you need to make sure that the functional manager who is the owner of this server understands, is convinced that your project is the most important one, and this server, this resource should be available to your project. So based on those examples, I hope you understand that these are the reasons why interpersonal skills, team skills are extremely important. They count as one of the major tools and techniques of the acquire resources process. If you have forgotten, we are actually discussing the tools and techniques of the acquire resources process. One of the tools and techniques, of course, is interpersonal and team skills. So this is part of the executing process group resource management knowledge area. Like I mentioned, second link in the description will take you to a playlist where we have listed every single video that we have done on resource management knowledge area. So do check that out. All right, let's move on. A quick reminder, all the PMP courseware articles and videos are available on this link, pmclounge.com/PMP training. Everything's free. Go check it out. So one thing that you should note here is when we say interpersonal skills, we don't really mean just the influencing or convincing ability, that these kind of skills, right? We also have to develop negotiating skills. And in the next three slides, we look into the three different kind of people that you may have to negotiate in the course of your project. And number one, as you can see on the screen, is functional managers. So as we have seen in the example, when you could basically speak to functional managers to get their best resource on your project, you might also have to negotiate for the time frame that they will be available, right? And like I mentioned, when we say resources, we don't just mean human resources. It could also mean servers in IT project. It could also mean certain kind of machinery in civil construction projects, right? So till what time would you have access to those resources? This is something you may have to negotiate with your functional managers, right? And even the ability, if you don't have the best resources possible, can you have the second best, right? So these are some of the things you may have to negotiate with the functional managers, right? And let's say these resources might work on multiple projects. it happens a lot of times in IT projects where a certain programmer, a certain tester is assigned to multiple projects, and you may have to negotiate for their availability to work on your own project. You have to negotiate with the functional managers here. Other project managers. Now, we just talked about how resources might be assigned to multiple projects, and I hope you understand the situation here, right? So, you may have to negotiate for the availability of these resources from the project managers of these multiple projects, right? So, again, this is a problem when it comes to sharing resources, but like I mentioned, other project managers are also in the list of some of the people you may have to negotiate with during the course of your project. So you can understand how competitive it may get when we say that every project manager must have interpersonal and team skills. They must have influencing skills. They must have negotiation skills. So then it comes to how good of a project manager with these kind of skills you are to get these resources. And finally, we have suppliers. Now, when we talk about suppliers, since they are external to the organization, whenever you're negotiating with suppliers, you need to take care of an additional layer here. And this layer includes your organizational policies, it includes your organizational guidelines, your legal terms and conditions based on which you have engaged with these suppliers. And these kind of criteria, right, should be considered when you are negotiating with the suppliers. Very, very important. It is also recommended that you involve someone from the procurement team if you are not pretty sure about these guidelines, the legal criteria, and policies. All right, now let's close out this video with the question for today. And the question is, what are some of the resources you have negotiated for? Team resources, human resources, or physical resources? What are some of the resources that you have negotiated for on your real life projects? Let me know in the comments. So that is all that we had in this video. Hope you enjoyed this topic. Hope you got to know more about this topic. Do hit the like button if you got value out of it. It keeps us motivated and helps us in creating more free content for you. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to check out the website pmclounge.com, your number one free PMP resource.